I'd like to call this meeting of the Festus City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer.
Here.
Councilman Underwood. Councilwoman Templeton.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
Councilman Dennis.
Here.
Councilman Benz.
Here.
Councilman Cook.
Present.
Councilman Tenen.
Different.
Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion to approve an amended consent agenda since we no longer have one. Bill 4636 has been removed.
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton.
Yes.
Councilman Weiner.
Yes.
Councilman Dennis.
Yes.
Councilman Benz.
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Councilman Tenen.
Yes. And just for the record, the bills this evening are $174,463.51. Okay, remarks of visitors.
We have none, sir.
Thank you. Bids,
And we need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
we did that.
I thought that was to amend the agenda.
It was a motion.
Oh,
to approve
all together.
the Amended consent.
Oh, okay.
Of the amended,
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we'll go back to bids. We have a civic recreation module bid.
Good evening, everybody. So we did submit this for the CARES Act funding to Jefferson County, and that is on the agenda tonight. But basically, this is just to take the parks and be able to do the reservations and all of that online. So, we would still have the capabilities for people to come into our office and take reservations that way if they don't feel comfortable. But in my staff report, I could go through a lot more detail than that. Does anybody have any questions?
No, anybody have any questions? Seems like a good idea to me.
Looks like Stephanie's doing her job streamlining the
Well, and Barb,
reservation system.
yes, and Barb I'm on behalf of Barb too. So we're excited about this because Greg said it on the presentation, you can actually create a map for the pavilion. So we get a lot of questions on that. They could click on the pavilion, see if it's available or not. So a lot of things like that. So we were really excited about it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things going on that Stephanie and Barb do, behind the scenes that we don't necessarily give accolades or applauds to, but you do a lot of good work to really keep the city functioning and going to a higher level. So
Yeah.
thanks.
Thank you. I have a very
Definitely.
good team and we're all excited to streamline stuff. So thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie.
That's the total.
That's
Yeah.
total.
So,
All righty, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to accept the bid of $8,588 for the civic recreation module.
So moved. Seconded.
Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Councilman Tenen.
Yes.
Councilman Benz.
Yes.
Councilman Dennis.
Yes.
Councilman Weiner.
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton.
Yes.
Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
We accept that bid. 2021 street overlays.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of the City Council, before you have Mr. Dollar's memorandum explaining the bids that we received. We got good competition this time, 5 bidders. I believe all 5 bids were complete. However, the low bid was from our local Festus paving company here, Joggers Paving. They do a lot of work for us. They do a good job. They're the low bid at $536, $514, 72 cents. It's Shane and I's recommendation that we accept that bid and that we start work as soon as possible. I believe that as soon as possible is around July, probably the end of July, but that's when we can get on Joker's schedule. You might notice that the difference between our budget and the low bid is pretty significant. It's my intent with your all's approval that we spend right up to that amount. If we've got an opportunity to do a change order here or there and throw some more streets in, or to do a little bit more here or there, we will do that. I know 660,000 is what we have budgeted. Again, we're a significant amount underneath that, so we might be able to squeeze another street in somewhere. So that's my intent. I will let you guys know if that comes to pass. But for right now, what I'm requesting is your authorization for 536-514-72 for Joker's paving.
Is there streets in mind that you have in mind that if we do get lucky, to keep this under budget?
Well, the thing is, when we're in these neighborhoods, there's always that little side street, that little piece that's close by that we might be able to go ahead and hit and do a little overlay on, and it'd make everybody happy in the neighborhood if we can do that. And since they're local, they're right there, it's a whole lot less expensive than going clear over across town. So it's going to be something similar to that. It's going to be when we're in the area, it's going to be Grant or Shane or I saying, hey, you guys are a block away. Just come over here and hit this spot while you're at it, and do 25 feet here or 50 feet there.
Oh,
or
yeah, exactly.
300 feet there. It's going to be something little like that. But I'd like to spend the money if it's your all's pleasure.
Oh, you got Pine Street on here.
Yes, sir.
That's good. I talked to one of the residents every day. He was real happy to know who's gonna be getting it.
And there's just a couple of them. We're going to spend a lot of money on Pine Street, but it's important that we get it fixed.
Yeah, 'cause it got tore up pretty good.
It did.
Building them apartments.
It did. And we will collect. Mr. Labian and I did come to an agreement. He is going to send us some money once we get this contract approved. So I'll be in contact with him next week to make sure we get that transacted.
Hey, Matt, couple questions.
Yes, sir.
When we do our bidding, it's my agenda, I'm sorry. When we do the bidding like that, but then we add projects to it, does that go outside the scope of bidding?
It's like a change order, I would think. I mean,
As long as we're within budget.
Well, okay, so the other bidders were aware this is potentially could happen and they had the ability to,
no, absolutely not.
that's my concern.
Once it's awarded, and the budget, the award is below the budgeted amount.
But we're
so
changing the
the
scope
fi-
of work though.
Change order would be allowed at that point, if we wanted to do that, absolutely.
But would an additional street fall under a change order? See, I view a change order as, hey, we hit a problem here and this is an incurred cost or an increased cost, but an entire street addition to me changes the scope of work. It changes the scope of bid.
It broadens the scope of work. It doesn't change necessarily the scope of work is to do street overlays.
But isn't the street overlays listed on what we're doing when they bid? That's how they come up with their linear feet, their measurement and everything?
The nice part about it though, is it's all based on the linear foot cost that we
Right.
have specifically from Jokerston. Their linear foot cost is less than everyone's else. So if we're able to say, okay, well, your bid is $1.75 a linear foot and the other ones are all $2.10, then clearly the other bidders are not prepared to be able to do it at $1.75 a linear foot because that's not what they bid.
What if my hypothetical though, what if I'm bidding on volume and it does decrease my linear foot like the larger contractors does? I see this in the county. That's why I'm asking. That's why the county, they don't do this. They consider a change work order during a project. They don't add projects to it because you're not allowing everybody a fair avenue to bid on the linear feet. Because if I get more asphalt at a wholesale volume, I apologize. It has potential decrease in my linear feet per cost. So I'm just making sure we're not.
We're not. For example, let's use the Fifth Street project. Because we just went through that on an STP project, and it turns out there was some landscaping that needed to be added, some concrete wall and block that needed to be added to the project. Certainly, it wasn't in the scope. It's not what Lappy bid, but it was something that we recognized that we could do while they were there. We already had a unit cost from the contractor, so we executed a change order to do that and stayed within the budget of the project. That's where I view that, is that if the budget for the project is 660, and we have $124,000 here that's not expended as part of the bids that came in, that as long as we stay within budget, which is the amount that the city has set aside to do these projects, that we would be able to extend the project beyond the low bid of 536.
That's just a bonus for the city, Mike. I mean,
It is, but I'm having a hard time with this. And I don't mean, and we don't need to keep it going, but think about if you're a larger contractor, and therefore you have more cost. And Jim, chime in, this is your cup of tea all the way. Couldn't
Well,
you
I-
potentially be cheaper if you're doing more linear feet, you buy more material, which could decrease your cost? You could have resubmitted your bid at a lower amount if you knew additional streets could be added on. Am I wrong?
I would think so. I mean, more stuff you buy, your materials are gonna be cheaper, everything.
Yeah, that's my only concern.
but see, they all bid at the same.
Yeah, but-
though.
But you're adding.
I
more.
agree with that, but they're bidding on what we're guaranteeing.
Yes,
There's no guarantee that we'll make it there.
Well, I think then
So
if
so that would
the,
be my thought.
it sounds like if the council's comfort level is not to be able to expend the additional 124 unless we identify additional streets and put that out for bid, which is a completely different project with a completely different scope, as opposed to the same project with a larger scope. But it will delay the expenditure of the 124. It's what at the end of the day, if we aren't able to expand the scope, still staying within budget, then at that point, we're going to have to say that we're going to not rebid, but put out a second bid for just $124,000 worth of asphalt overlay.
Yeah, but that can increase that amount for that small. It's better to take advantage.
I guess that's the alternative though.
Right.
So it based on, again, your comfort factor.
We have an attorney, let's ask him.
Brian, I know you're on the call. Again, if we're within budget, you have a low bidder that has given you a unit cost, would we be okay to, you've been part of the conversation. I mean, you've heard.
No,
most of
I've
the
heard it all,
conversation here. Yeah. So your 2 cents.
No, I understand what Councilman Cook and some of the others are getting at, that there could be the perception of a fairness issue if the scope is changing. It sounds to me like what's occurring is that because the low bid came in fairly significantly below what we budgeted. If I understand Matt correctly, we may have the ability to add some additional streets to the scope of work. But as I understand it, that's maybe not entirely clear yet. May depend on timing and whether or not everyone is able to get their ducks in a row to do so. So I'd be inclined to say that it's changing the scope with the contractor who's already been selected post bid doesn't cause me any real concerns. If there were an issue of the city setting the bidding process up in a way to do this in a way that made the bidding process unfair, that would be a concern. It is something I can devote some research to if that's the council's wish, and get back to you shortly if that would increase everyone's comfort level with potentially adding to the scope of work.
So guys, I think, the bidding system is to keep everybody fair and, keep everything fair and stuff. But I also believe that when you get a company that's used to working with us, I think they get a comfort level and they're good with this. And I don't see a problem with it, really.
I don't know.
The only thing I was going to add to, gentlemen and ladies, and is if I were to make the list bigger next year, so I'm going to just to cover our rear ends, let's add 5 more streets next year. The bids come back and they're all over our budget amount. So now I'm faced with the unenviable position to have to remove someone's streets from the bid package. And that means it's going to put them off a year. So that means Public Works is now public enemy number 1 for that whole neighborhood because we made the bid package too big. This is just one of those rare times that the market and our estimates came into the, this gleaming beam of light and everything magical happened. we're going to get a little bit more for our money than what we anticipated. I just hate to see the residents be penalized because I made a mistake. You know,
Well,
that's what it comes down to. I didn't add enough streets.
I think we can, I am comfortable moving on with the project and let Brian do some further research. And if he finds something that says we can't, we won't. But if he don't, move forward. We still got to get these done anyway. We got a little time.
Correct.
Yeah,
So that
and
gives us option on both
In
ends.
fairness, if you recall, I believe it was 2 years ago, the overlay bids came in and it was right at 800,000. And we did have to cut streets out. In fact, I believe Sunnyside was one of them because it knocked the budget totally out of whack. We only had 660 to spend and it came in over 800,000 with 4 or 5 bidders. So the only way to get it to fit was to remove a street. And I think this is a better spot to be. It gives you the opportunity to identify some more pressing needs. They're not necessarily in the overlay plan that we have, the preventative maintenance plan that we have, but we can sit there and say, you know what, this is a bad spot. We need to do something about it.
So just go ahead, Kevin.
It seems like we got both options, with this. Matt can move forward. He's got time. Brian's going to check it legally. Like I said, if they didn't meet the minimal bid, I don't see adding things to it. That's going to change because we got to get through those 4 streets first. You know how that goes. So I think you got time we can get it going and we still got time to check it legally and cover all bases.
So just one thing to say, I agree that we should go forward with this. And just to keep transparency at its optimal level in the future, if in the writing of the bid, if we could include if there's any overages that, like for instance, contract work could be done with those overages.
Yeah, and something I want to add in, this isn't a penalizing, somebody who's penalizing our citizens. That's not what this is about. And I don't need to be reminded the project last year cost more money. It's strictly about this ordinance, this project. That's my only concern. Everything else is secondary. So it's not a penalization. It's not somebody made a mistake. It's just my concern is the bidding process. That's all. I just want to make sure everybody's on board with that. This isn't about $800,000 over bid here or there. It has nothing to do with it. Strictly where we're at on this ordinance and this bid.
Is there any other discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the bid of Joggers Paving for $536,514.72.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilman Underwood. Yes. Councilwoman Templeton,
Yes.
Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilman Dennis,
Yes.
Councilman Tenen,
Yes.
Councilman Benz,
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
No. Yeah, I broke it. No.
Motion passes. Award the contract.
There it is.
He's got it fixed.
Operator error.
Operator error.
Okay, next thing, ordinances and resolutions. Tonight we have resolution number 4633 and a half. Joint resolution in support of the Great Streets Planning Grant through East-West Gateway Council of Governments. Would the clerk please read the resolution? Or did I just read
You
it?
just read it?
I just read it. Okay. Resolution 4633 and a half is now open for discussion. Staff report.
As we discussed at our work session, this is expressing our support of moving forward with Great Streets in cooperation with East-West Gateway and with the city of Crystal City.
Sam had said something during the work session. Are they on board with this? Because a lot of their stuff is done. So
Yes.
we wouldn't get to the end, and so
Yes.
They're 30 dollars.
Yeah, they're on board.
yes.
Is there any other discussion? If not, can I have a motion to approve resolution number 4633 and a half?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Tenen.
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Councilman Benz.
Yes.
Councilman Dennis.
Yes.
Councilman Weiner.
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton.
Yes.
Councilman Underwood.
Yes.
Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Kick it on.
Motion passes. Resolution 4633 and one half has passed. Night.
Please turn Mike's mic on, please. It's not funny.
It is a resolution.
Tonight we have resolution 4634 and a half. Would the city clerk please read the resolution?
Resolution number 4634 and a half, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, adopting the City of Festus fraud detection and prevention policy and establishing an effective date.
May I have the staff report, please?
Yes, so basically this is just a policy that guides everyone against with fraud. And so guidance for the employees and the city officials to follow if they suspect any fraud that's occurring in the city. And each employee will receive a copy of this and sign and date it. So do you guys have any specific questions about the policy?
There's no discussion, no questions?
Good.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 4634 and a half?
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Councilman Underwood.
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton.
Yes.
Councilman Weiner.
Yes.
Councilman Dennis.
Yes.
Councilman Benz.
Yes.
Councilman Tenen.
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes. Use your air.
Resolution 4634 and a half has passed. Tonight we have Bill 4635 on the agenda. Would the clerk please read the bill?
Bill number 4635, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into and execute a contract with Joggers Paving for the 2021 street overlays, incorporating said contract as part of this ordinance and establishing an effective date.
Staff report, please.
Same as previous discussion.
All righty. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to suspend the rules and read Bill 4635 for the second time in title only?
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Would the Madam Clerk please read Bill 4635 for the second time?
Bill number 4635, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into and execute a contract with Joggers Paving for the 2021 street overlays, incorporating said contract as part of this ordinance and establishing an effective date. Councilman Tenen.
Yes.
Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Councilman Underwood. Councilwoman Templeton.
Yes.
Councilman Benz.
Yes.
Councilman Dennis.
Yes.
Councilman Weiner.
Yes.
Bill 4635 has passed. New business.
None?
We have no new business. Old business.
None?
We have no old business. Councilman reports. Councilman Tenen?
I don't think I have anything, sir.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Venz?
I forgot to ask Greg earlier, what's up with Spire? All the work on Ridge and the unfinished, by the railroad tracks. How much longer are all this stuff gonna be open?
A lot of that is all contingent on obviously the work that they're going to be doing to replace that trestle. So because the railroad has been where it is for as long as it has been, and the utilities are in the area, they need to be either temporarily or permanently removed out of a lot of that right of way. So
So the holes will just stay open
until the railroad work is done.
okay, how about Ridge? All the whole street tore up with all the holes, I guess, on Ridge there. I mean, they're just putting new lines in or something, or?
I don't know what they're putting in. I know that it's part of a utility relocation though.
It's been going on for a while. I didn't know if they gave us a timeline, Spire did, or?
No.
Or if that's the only spot, or if they're gonna continue.
As you know, the utilities like Ameren and Spire are not required to come pull a permit from us. So we don't know the duration
Yeah, I know
of
that.
time that they're going to be working in the right of way. So I can't give you a timeline. I don't know.
Yeah, I knew that part, but I wasn't sure if they told you anything as far as,
We coordinated with them in relation to the trestle project and what we needed to do there. Obviously, we had some stormwater and water lines, sewer lines that were affected by that as well. So we were coordinated with Spire and Ameren on those projects, on that specific area.
okay. People has asked me and I told them, I said, I'll just.
I had reached out to the government liaison with BNSF. I talked to him in March and again in April. Both times he said he'd get back to me. He never did. I asking, when's the timeline on the trestle project? Do you have a start date? Getting info out of BNSF is not the easiest thing to do. And to date, I haven't been successful. Obviously, a lot of that work is contingent on the railroad completing their work. And then the holes and a lot of the relocation work will they'll be able to wrap it up.
Okay. And Matt, how many more stop signs you gotta keep replacing?
Over there, you talking about the trestle?
Yeah, it seems like you might as well just paint a board saying stop instead of constantly putting a new stop sign in
Yeah,
every day.
that's stop sign collector's row. I hope that somebody doesn't get hurt there.
I guess you're scared to put another good one in since the railroad eventually one day we're gonna come, you're gonna probably change that stop sign.
Well,
anyway.
no, I'm sure they've called dig right. It's just with all the home construction and everything else going on in Festus, it gets, put on the bottom of the list. But yeah, we replaced 2, I think, in the last week over there because you keep walking
It
off.
seems like every day I go by or every other day, it's gone.
Yep.
So I just figured you'd take a board and put big old stop and then maybe that would stop the stealing of.
We're going to get one of those iPhone trackers that come out and we're going to put on the back of it and going to
Man,
give
I've
Tim
never
the
seen
coordinates.
I've never seen so
Chief
many
can
stop
go.
signs. How many
I-
people want those dang stop signs in there?
I had to do a steel sign and have it welded to the post.
Yeah.
I guess, every day, almost every other day is a stop sign's gone. I mean,
Take care of that.
yeah, it's,
That baby on top and bottom.
and thanks for doing Collins, those little squares you fixed, made nice.
Yeah, looks pretty.
Appreciate that. Chief Lewis, I guess you still keeping people over there on that Horine Fund place?
We're trying, we're finding that the complaints aren't quite meeting the numbers that we see. And that's another thing, I'll tell you what, is a little off balance. Next year, we're looking at this company called Flock that puts up cameras throughout the city, and we're thinking about putting in our budget to get several of those cameras. And Horine is going to be probably one of our top 3 places that we're going to put them. We're still running the details, but the numbers aren't showing that. I mean, I'm not saying they're not.
Oh, I know, it's, like it is. As soon as they see you guys gone, man, they're out.
Well, hopefully, if the cities will allow us to do the flock, that when we put up the cameras, it collects the data and it tells, factual data when they are speeding. So we in turn can put cars over there during that time. Because sometimes you get somebody saying, hey, you can't run a corner 50 miles an hour. Or another person, but I want to be there when somebody tries to take a corner 50 miles an hour.
Well, we seen what happened to the last kid that did that. Yeah, the last kid did that, took out his parents.
But it's just that we're trying. It's just, they were riding a motorcycle down.
Yeah.
They were standing on the seat. So I think it was some of Corey's game up there.
Yeah, it's, oh,
But we'll still keep it up.
yeah, I know, like I said, it's tough. I mean, I see you guys there every once in a while, but like you said, no sooner you guys leave, somebody must relay a thing. They're going, let's go. And I mean, it's like anywhere else I see you
It's all
park.
It's all over town.
Right, as soon as you're in one spot, as soon as you leave, the next spot is flying. So, because, the red lights, man, it's getting worse on A. I mean, I'm sitting there at Hardee's and 2 big trucks with trailers just ran the red light, and it's like the people sitting there on Hardee's and the low spot couldn't go for 5 minutes. The light was almost changed by the time I mean, it's just,
We're trying.
oh, I know, like I said, it's tough, but
Exactly.
that's it, sir.
Thank you, sir. And I can assure you that when you're sitting in a civilian vehicle or you're sitting in Hardee's having breakfast
Yeah.
and seeing all those things happen, if you were sitting in a patrol car, it wouldn't happen on the side of the road.
I know, it's,
From the voice of experience is talking there. Okay, Councilwoman Templeton.
The only thing I have is there is a house that is being built past North Mill Drive on the right-hand side. So that's not a great, it's not a great path of road anyway, because you're limited visibility. They have a lot of rock that they have busted out of there. Is there any way to encourage them to put some sort of signs up to warn people that there's trucks entering and leaving that roadway? They're going to have to get it out of there somehow.
Sure. And we can encourage the contractor to make sure that they
It's not
put
so
up-
much going, it's
coming the other way.
coming this
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah, you don't have a full view until you're pretty much right on top of it. So, yeah, we'll talk to the contractor.
That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Underwood.
I have nothing, sir.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Boyer.
Chief,
Yes.
there's a can of Pringles, a deadly weapon.
Do what?
Can of Pringles. I'm seeing here.
That's how hungry you are.
See it here on Hubert Street.
You know, sometimes when we put these reports together, I want to start with once upon a time. So, can't make that stuff up.
Same guy that drank a bottle of wine, I guess, on
Probably.
the Walgreens.
Drink the wine, got the cheese.
Okay, you guys handle it all.
Like I said, it's the best front seat and the best circus in town.
I have nothing else.
All right, thanks, sir. Councilman Dennis.
I called Matt the other day and I'm listening enchanted about our grass cutting people. And I've talked to different department heads and things, and anywhere it's wet, they just don't cut it. I guess they don't have a weed eater. But, I haven't talked to Matt since, but I'm sure that he's relayed this message. Joker's Park there, right in the middle, it's starting to get pretty high. And, God forbid Larry roll over his grave if he's seeing the parks the way they are. They need to get off those lawnmowers that are going 20, 30 miles an hour and do some weed eating, because it's looking shabby, and that's not how we roll. So you might already took care of it. I'm probably sure you did, but
I
Like I
know
said, I just
they've been catching it, not just from myself and from Matt, but also from Josh.
he said,
The Parks Director, encouraging them to lower the decks, to slow down and be a little more deliberate. They were here today. They seem to do a little bit better job. But it's a constant battle. Since we've been with All Seasons, now this is our second year. It continues to be a fight.
it was relayed to me that before Josh, that Larry had to remind them to weed eat here and there. Just because it's wet doesn't mean we quit cutting. And Josh and I talked about it, but it seems like they send the boss or the supervisor out and they do a little bit better job, but yeah, they're in an awful big hurry. And I don't think we're getting what we paid for. So if you guys are on it, so be it. But I do think that's something we need to look at. And like I said, I want to thank Chief. I've seen his patrol car over on Valentine and over on Orion, and it is hard to catch them because, when the sun's out, so are people. But I get it. I was in that business. But thank you for showing your presence. That seems to kind of curtail it for a minute. So, yeah, we appreciate you guys. So that's all I have, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Councilman Weiner.
I was down at my store the other day and speaking with some officers, and this has to do with the new radios that we have in. And I think they were down in St. John is what they were saying, and they were crystal clear down there. So it's really nice to hear that the officers' safety, it seems like when there were voids, holes, and so on, that those are a thing of the past. And I think, we were trying to get that fixed for years, and it sounds like we have finally done it. And so I'm very happy about that. It's good to see the Great Streets project, see that thing started and hopefully come to some fruition later also. And then Greg, congratulations on your 4 years here. You've done a great job, and look forward to some more. That's all I have.
All right, thanks, sir.
4 minutes underwater.
Councilman Cook.
Hey, Chief, quick question for you. What if we start putting unoccupied cars around town, like, some cities used to do a while back ago? Any thought on that?
I don't.
Why don't you think about it and get back to me?
I can tell you, I probably won't do it. And here's the reason why. When they're good, when they realize that they're there, but as soon as the people realize they're unoccupied and they're more of a prop than a deterrent, then we're gonna start, like Crystal City, they got the car shot. Then we're gonna start seeing property damages. We'll see our windows get knocked out. Car destroyed. I mean, if there's an area where you want me to put extra officers, I'll put a car there.
No, I just popped my head. No, I throw it against the wall. If it sticks, great. If it don't, then I don't take credit for it.
It's a good idea, but I think that we're gonna see damage to patrol cars.
Okay. Hey, Greg, it seems like the council and stuff, Public Work Week went by, Law Enforcement Week went by, kind of.
Municipal Employee Week went by.
Yeah, I kind of feel, I feel horrible about it, to be honest, because our workers do a great job. Any thought on maybe possibly doing maybe a big barbecue where we appreciate everybody? And if we announce enough time, I'll even take off work and be a cook, or I'll serve food to our workers, something like that.
We can certainly look into that. That's not a problem.
Would you please?
Be happy to.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All righty. Thank you, sir. I think we're doing okay. We've had a whole rough year and looks like we're headed out of it. It's the first time I've had the whole council here in this building at one time in the last year, and I'm very happy for that. I think we'll get back to normal. Everything will start running smoother. And that's all I have. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. We are adjourned.
I thought I cut that wire all the way through. I don't know what happened.